Hi, my name is Gina Brenneman. I'm Curator of Visual Arts at the Harwood Museum of Art, where we currently have on exhibit Rebecca Salsbury James paintings in Colchas in the Martin and Scott galleries. It includes reverse oil on glass, some of her Colchas, and lots of memorabilia and ephemera from her personal collection. Another interesting correlation between Rebecca James and Georgia O'Keeffe was their relationship to the East Coast and their relationship to the avant-garde circle of artists from that time frame. Rebecca was married to Paul Strand during the same time that Georgia O'Keeffe was married to Stieglitz. In fact, that is how Rebecca and Georgia met each other, through their husbands, who were both avant-garde photographers on the East Coast. Rebecca Salsbury James chose to work in two specific mediums. One was the colcha and the other reverse oil on glass. We have quite a few examples of her colchas here in this Rebecca Salsbury James exhibit. Colcha stitch she learned from Jesusita Peralta, and it's a northern New Mexico tradition that she helped revitalize. A colcha is typically defined as something for domestic use, most typically a bedspread, but the actual term colcha is specifically designated to a stitch, which can be incorporated in a lot of different things. Traditionally it has been domestic use, but Rebecca Salsbury James also used it to create fine art pieces. The other technique that Rebecca James used as one of her chosen mediums was reverse oil on glass. And historians think that she probably picked that up from her friendship with Georgia O'Keeffe and noticed that what happened to the paint and kind of the effects of the paint when when Georgia O'Keeffe was using glass as a palette for her paints. There's also some thought that she may have picked it up from Kandinsky, who wrote an essay regarding reverse oil on glass, and that the historians know that Rebecca James picked up on and probably employed some of that information as well. One of the interesting things about these pieces that she created is the provenance. On the back of each of the colchas and the paintings, instead of a historic documentation of exhibits, there are historic documentations of relationships. So each one has been dedicated very specifically to individual friends and family members. There are several motifs that Rebecca James employed in her reverse oils and her colchas. The colchas had a lot of heavy religious symbology, which is interesting because she was not a religious person in the traditional sense. The reverse oil on glass, you see a lot of theatrical staging. She most frequently did still lifes of florals. You can see the development of the relationship she had with Georgia O'Keeffe in her paintings. It's fairly evident that they influenced each other.